What's up, marketers? I talk a lot about creatives on this channel and how to create content that converts on Facebook ads and TikTok ads. And one of the most important things about creating ads that convert boils down to one thing, and that is the hook or thumb stop ratio. And what this is literally tracking is how effective your creative is at getting people to stop on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. It's literally the first step in getting them to watch your ads and eventually convert. In this video, I'm going to discuss what a hook rate or thumb stop ratio is and why it's so important, what a good hook rate is, because y'all have been asking me this question a lot, and 5 strategies that you can use now to improve your hook rates. We literally use these all the time at Thesis. Now, if you are inside of Facebook Ads Manager every day, you're not going to find a hook rate inside of your custom columns. You actually have to create a custom metric for that. And the way that you're going to create that is impressions divided by 3-second video views. And what this is literally going to track is the percentage of all people who view your ad and watch the first 3 seconds. Why is the hook rate or thumb stop ratio so important? So at Thesis, we've actually found that if you improve your hook rates, you very oftentimes will improve your overall conversion rates. But what's really interesting about this metric particularly is that often does not correlate to click-through rate, for instance. I can't tell you how many times I've seen an ad perform really, really well, but the click-through rate was a lot lower than what we'd normally see in an account. However, pretty much across the board, it's our ads that have the highest hook rates that are also having the highest conversion rates on our back end. Why is that? To be honest, I'm not really sure, but I've just seen it a lot, so that's what I'm reporting here. If you think you know why that might be, leave a comment below. So what is a good hook rate? Now, especially for my regular viewers, you guys are all super smart, and you know that this really depends on the type of industry and also the type of account. Truly, it's gonna depend on a lot of factors. But a few months ago at Thesis, we actually dug into our hook rates across all of the accounts that we had access to, and we found that the average was about 24%. So even as an internal benchmark for myself, when I'm looking at ad accounts, I'm really looking to see if something is above 25%, because that would signal to me, oh, these are at least average, or they're a little bit above average. Some of the highest hook rates that I've ever seen were around 40 to 50%. And I've even seen in some cases 60% with ads that were getting enough scale that were for Reels placements only, which is very interesting. But you're gonna have to analyze your hook rates per account. Essentially, you're gonna have to see what a normal hook rate is for your account or your client, and then go from there to make improvements. Now, I wanna show you guys really quick how I'm actually analyzing these hook rates inside of an actual ad account. So I'm gonna go up to my columns and make sure that I can customize them to add that hook rate. Here we go. Apply. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring that front and center. Cool, so we are looking at a D2C e-commerce brand over the last 30 days, and we can see that their overall video hook rate is at a 28%. So that's actually pretty good considering our benchmarks. But what we actually wanna do here is we wanna dive a little bit deeper and look at 3 main things. We want to look at, number 1, what type of messaging is being used in the initial 3 seconds. Number 2, what type of imagery or video footage is being used in the initial 3 seconds, and also take a look at the thumbnail. The thumbnail, admittedly, is not something that I always look at, but this one time we had like outrageously high hook rates on a singular piece of ad content. I realized it was because someone had put the thumbnail on a completely blacked out part of the ad, which is kind of interesting visually. So be sure to pay attention to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the campaigns that I want to look at and look at the ads only for those 3 campaigns. Now, it kind of sucks. I used to be able to organize these from top to bottom. Now I can't always do that depending on the account. So I'm gonna be scrolling down here to pull out the averages. Now I can see the average down here is 29%. So when I'm seeing things like this and this that are at 52%, oh, I'm gonna wanna double click into that. But I also want to make sure that I'm cross-analyzing with the amount spent. But I can see from the reach here, oh, this actually hasn't gotten that much amount spent through it. So I should probably give that one a little bit more time. But seeing something like this at 30% is really compelling, because I know that this has had quite a bit of spend.
this one as well. This one has had even more, and that's almost at 30%, has had quite a bit amount of purchases too.
Now, unfortunately, I can't tap into that specific client account and show you the exact ad asset that we're looking at. But again, I'm going to be opening up all of those ad assets and being like, hey, what type of text and messaging are they using there? What type of imagery are they using there? And also take a look at the thumbnails. And when I'm developing a creative strategy for a client, I'm always doing that analysis first. So I'm actually going to be taking a look at the top 3 ads over the last 30 days and over the last 6 months that had the top hook rates and hold rates as well. But the hold rate is another video. So now the 5 strategies that we use at Thesis to improve our clients' hook rates right here. Number 1, post-it notes. Now you guys already know that this is a strategy that I've talked about as an overall ad asset unit. You guys are pretty familiar with this if you've watched my videos before, but something we've been testing recently is just using this as a hook on our top performing ads, and spoiler alert, it works really well. You can also use different types of handwritten types of content. I've even seen some people write on windows, write on pieces of paper, write on mirrors. There's tons of really unique ways to do this. That's really just all about using your hand to write out the actual message. This is a really cool one that you can get creative with. And the second one is leaning into TikTok trends. So this is gonna be things like TikTok made me buy it, what I got versus what I ordered, 3 reasons why, or a problem statement using I. These are all things that I see a lot on TikTok and TikTok ads and things that we just see work really, really well across the board. And if you guys have been listening to my podcast with Savannah Sanchez, she actually says that the whole TikTok made me buy it hook is something that just tends to crush over and over and over again, even though at this point it is a little bit of a cliche because of how popular it is. But I'm not above trying something popular if it's gonna make my clients money, and it really is. So I would definitely give that one a try. This is low-hanging fruit, y'all. Now the next one is actually gonna be more of a visual cue. So the other 2 that I've mentioned here really have a lot to do with the type of text, but something that I also look at a lot when analyzing hook rates is what type of imagery is actually in the background of that. And something that we've seen work really well is a reverse loop. So literally you are taking a video and reversing it back. And in some cases you can do a loop for this. I have done this tons and tons of times, and it really does tend to work really well across the board. So like a really easy strategy here could be literally to take your best performing video asset and reverse the first 3 seconds of it and see how that compares. Number 4 is the TikTok response bubble. In fact, I've often found that a lot of times these TikTok response bubble style hooks scale up really, really nicely. But the trick is you have to do a lot of split testing to figure out which message is going to be the best inside of that TikTok response bubble. Some of our best practices at Thesis are to keep the tone super casual. You actually want this to feel like something that has been written in the comments section over at TikTok. I also really like using emojis. I tend to find that that works really well. And it really does have to be as casual and authentic as possible. And if you're a little bit lost about what types of things to put in there, think about the frequently asked questions that you get from people on the organic side or even from potential or previous customers. One of my favorite things to do is actually to go through a brand's organic TikTok and just see what people are asking about the brand normally, and then putting those into the TikTok response bubble. But what's interesting is the ones that I found tend to scale up really nicely are the ones that are honing in on something having to do with value. Savannah said this the other day when we were filming a podcast, that TikTokers are really sensitive to price and to value. So if you can somehow make your product look like it's a really great value or they're somehow saving money, that's something that's going to be taken really positively on the platform. Number 5 is going to be a bit of a catch-all, because the best hooks I've found are the ones that are the most surprising, the most outlandish, and are the most oddly satisfying visually. So when compiling visual imagery from your hooks, try to use as bright a colors as you can. Try to go up close or have an awkward angle, kind of like this hyper skin visual that was actually on their organic reels, but I thought would do really well as an ad. Other really good hooks that I've seen involve split screens or a package at the door or a UGC style unboxing. I think a brand that had done this really well previously was Cerebral. They would use things like squeezing different textured things. Like this is like really playing into the oddly satisfying type of content. And it's something that I always think about every time we onboard a new creative client at Thesis is how can we manipulate this, or how can we represent this visually in a way that's going to be poking at that oddly satisfying need that people have on UGC or on social media. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do want to do more deep dives on creative strategy for you guys moving forward. So if you are into that kind of content, be sure to let me know down in the comments section below. And I will chat with you guys next week. Later, bye.